Hello, friends. Stoking Embers. You know, they told me you can't cellar aromatic tobacco. What are you thinking? You're cellaring aromatic tobacco. But what do I do with all of this? All right, before you get all your underwear's all bunched up and stuff, yeah, that is a bunch of aromatic tobacco. Now let me explain what happened. So the cigar shop I go to, they were kind of half-hearted into pipes. They had this selection of aromatics. I don't even know the names of them as far as the brand. It just says like 777 Amaretto or Cherry Cavendish and such. Well, last year when the FDA had announced its deeming regulations, the cigar shop said, we don't want to deal with this anymore. We're not even going to deal with this. Then there's a separate tax issue for bulk tobacco versus the cigars because they weren't even carrying tint at the time. And I was obviously a regular customer, been there, held a locker for over 6 years. And I come in and I see all this tobacco, like looks like they're in trash bags, clear trash bags sitting on the shelf where there used to be the jars of the bulk. And I asked them, so hey guys, what are you doing with all this tobacco? The guy, we're not dealing with it. So they said, you want it? We'll make you a smoking deal to take it off our hands. Well, I'm telling you, at 16 cents an ounce, I took it all off their hands. And that is a crap ton of tobacco. And it's a bulk of my cellar, really. So still having only smoked aromatics, and I only bought what I needed, and that was kind of it. Up until, like I said before, February when I started doing Mutton Chop Piper's Blend Club, I just put it in jars because I read this is how you cellar. And I hadn't dug enough to find out, well, what do you do with aromatics versus English and Latakias and Periques or Vapors or any of the other stuff. So there it was sitting. And as I went along, I learned, oh, you're not supposed to do that. That's not bueno. Well, what do I do with all this pipe tobacco? So I've been looking around. And I saw Jay Diggs. I think I'm saying that right. I'll put him down at the bottom. He did a 1 year, I believe it was, on some 1Q. And he noticed it really didn't improve. As I recall, he said it didn't get worse, but it didn't improve. And then you would have seen Aristocob or the Markwood Men's Breakfast Club, where Scott had stored up 5 pounds of 1Q, saved it for 5 years to see what happens. And this summer he released it, and they noticed that some of it, I think, may have been worse. Some about the same, but then it was dependent upon how the jars had actually maintained. So some popped, some didn't, and his son actually went in and stole some out of another, or used it, right? So I was like, well, what do I do? And then there was another YouTuber, and I saw this some time back. I can't remember who he was. Otherwise, I'd throw him some credit. Well, he used the food saver, and he put them in the vacuum sealed bag, and the theory was it would hold, but the problem was it also left it as a big, like a brick. So it wasn't loose anymore, and you would have to cut it and to be able to put it in your pipe and break it apart. And my concern was then if we didn't press it properly, the flavors wouldn't mingle or wouldn't blend as they're supposed to. So what do I do? Well, first off, I guess I had to figure out what I was actually going to do with this tobacco. And I'll give a lot of props to Rooster. That's right, Rooster. I mentioned your name again. It's kind of like a scary stalking thing, but I like you, so that's all right. Or maybe that's what makes me stalking. Well, Rooster did he did a great video, and I'm going to put his link down there below as well to that video where he discussed the difference between cellaring and preserving. And that got me to thinking, I'm preserving my aromatics, not cellaring, which is what Rooster had suggested, is you can preserve it, you're just not going to cellar it. Difference being cellaring is going to improve the flavor, you hope it will. Cellaring will, but preserving won't. I've got a lot of tobacco, got a great deal on it. What do I do with it? So I had this idea. I've got them in mason jars. I'm a food saver kind of guy with 4 boys, a family the size of ours with 7 people in the house. I don't have a choice. Food saver has this really cool device out, and it's an attachment you put on your food saver. It goes over the mason jars, and it vacuum seals them into the jar. So the theory being, or a test at least, is if I vacuum seal it, am I going to be able to at least preserve my aromatic tobacco until I can get around to it? I mean, guys, this is a lot of aromatic tobacco, and I've gathered a whole bunch more in tins, as well as some of the English blends, the vapors, the Latakias, and Syrian Latakia. I can't smoke it all at once, and I can't get around to it. So we're going to try it. I'll experiment with you. I'm going to show you how I actually put it into vacuum sealing. And then, I don't know, we'll pick a date. Maybe I'll go back and look at it a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 5. I don't know. But I'll tell you this. So far, one of the things that I've read a comment on by somebody says that it's goopy and that the goop is going to end up at the bottom and then you'll never see it. Oh, this is great. I didn't label that one. Isn't that nice? So I don't know what that one is. That's my mystery blend. Okay, but here's this one. Cherry Cavendish. I couldn't tell you what it is. This is just bulk the shop had gotten in, and they were selling it as just Cherry Cavendish. But there it is. And I apologize for the lighting, but you can see there's no goop yet. I've had it cellared since October of 2016. Oh, I'm sorry. I've had it stored since October of 2016. No goop. Nothing's running down at the bottom as people have claimed will happen, but I don't know. I've only had it for a year. Maybe it takes longer. And again, up until this point, I only bought what I needed. So we're going to go ahead and give it a try. I'll vacuum seal it, show you what I'm doing, and then hopefully at least it just doesn't get any worse. Okay, so this is my Food Saver Super Deluxe Costco Edition. And that is the attachment you use for sealing up mason jars or bell jars, Kerr, whatever brand, doesn't matter. This particular one is for wide mouth jars. They also make them for standard. Then here we go, wide mouth. This one is a 1M Virginia Cavendish. So we're going to go ahead. I think that's Sutliff, isn't it? Well, we're going to go ahead and seal this one up. So we take the ring off because the ring doesn't need to be there. And you can see it's on there. The ring is off. Open and close it does pretty good. There was a slight vacuum. All I do is I'm going to leave that lid on with the ring off, put this on top, and then I'll just hit my accessory port, make a lot of noise. And then it's sealed, right? So we take the lid off, or the suction cup thingy off. And you can see before it was easy to take and pop. Now, not so much. So, vacuum seal. Now, Food Saver tells you can leave it like that. Not for me, thanks. I'll put the lid back on. Well, this could get boring, watch me do all that, but that's it for now. I'm going to go ahead and I'll vacuum seal the rest, figure out what else I want to talk about, and then we'll come back.